Hey there, and welcome to Crochet Therapy. I'm Barbara, your host for this tutorial of a fabulous fabric basket. And as you can see, I have used my basket to hold little balls of yarn, and I'm so excited. So what you're going to need is fabric, and if you're using regular fabric, you go to the fabric store and you buy a couple yards of fabric. What you're going to need is some pretty sharp scissors, some fabric scissors, and you will need a Q hook. Now, I'm going to give you a little hint. I cheated on this basket, but I won't do it again. This basket, I cheated and I used jelly roll fabric that I got from a fabric store. And that's all well and good. It was already cut into strips for me. It was super easy to use. However, there wasn't enough to make a nice size basket. As you can see, this is just a nice little basket, which I am absolutely in love with. But I want to make a bigger basket, and so I'm actually going to go to the fabric store and get several yards of fabric, probably 5 yards of fabric, just so I can make sure that I have enough. And so what I'm going to do is walk you through the process of how to crochet with fabric. Now, if you buy your own fabric, what you're going to want to do is you have the option of going and cutting strips of fabric between 1 inch to 2.5 inches wide. This fabric here is 2.5 inches wide, and I really like how sturdy this is. I mean, this is very sturdy, and it's, it's just perfect for me. And you see the detail in the crochet, and I'm loving it. I am loving it. Yes, indeed. And you can see how it is a rag because you can see the little strings that are coming from the sides, but that's the beauty of this fabric rag basket. And it holds a lot. You can make this as big as you want or as small as you want. Let's get started. Okay, let's get started. What we will need are strips of fabric, and you can either cut your own fabric or you can take that little bit of extra help like I did and purchase what is commonly known as a jelly roll. This is a roll of fabric, and it's complementary colors, as you can see in the top, how it has blues and greens and whites, and I don't know what's in there. However, I do know that it's going to be interesting and the colors are going to complement one another. And so I purchased this at a craft store. It is strips of 100% cotton, 2.5 inches wide by 42 inches long, and there are 10 designs and 2 of each. So there are 2 strips of each type of fabric. And so you will need fabric. Now you can go as small as 1 inch wide or as wide as 2.5 inches wide. I wouldn't go much further than that. What I'm going to do, since this is 2.5 inches wide, I'm actually going to fold it in half and use it that way. If I had a 1 inch fabric, I would more than likely just use it as a single strip. So my option 2 would be if I wanted to take a rotary cutter and cut this in half, and basically split this into 2 sections, then I could double my fabric. But I'm going to go ahead and use it this way, and we'll see what happens. The other item that you will need is a Q hook. Now this is a very large hook, and I'm using the Q hook simply because I'm using such a wide fabric. If I wasn't using such a wide fabric, I could possibly go down a size to an N hook. But I'm going to go ahead and use my big Q hook. It has served me well in the past, and I'm going to try it again today. The other thing you will need is a nice sharp pair of scissors. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so I've unrolled the strips, and as you can see, it has a really pretty design. When we crochet with them, you know, we're going to see the colors. We're not necessarily going to see the full design, but here's some pretty colors. Let's see what else we have. Oh, that's pretty. So, you know, I mainly went for the colors. So let's see what else we have here. And we want to make sure we get the, oh, that's pretty too. And it looks like maybe we have another one here. Yep. So that one's pretty. They're all complementary. So that's nice. Now, the goal with this is to have our fabric connect like this. And this is going to allow the fabric to be crocheted. It's not a knot. It is, I'm actually not sure what it's called, but it's a way of making a knot that is not just tying just a regular knot like you do with your shoes. So I'm going to show you how to do that, okay? Now, the first thing you're going to have to do is take your fabric, and you're going to want to, and I've already done that, and you can see the crease here. You're going to want to fold it in half with the fabric, the pretty side out, okay? And this doesn't have to be perfect because we are going to be crocheting and the colors are going to peek through as we crochet. So our goal is to keep the pretty side out, but we don't have to, you know, iron it down before we work this. We're just going to coax it with our fingers. So we're going to have a hole in each end of the fabric strips. And how we make this hole is we fold it over, and then we take our scissors and we cut. Now, when we cut, we're going to want to come to within a 1/4 inch away from our fabric. Our fabric end. We're not going to want to get too close, and yet we don't want to get so far away either, because we want to try and ensure that we have a nice, tight, and you know, a knot that doesn't have a lot of extra on it. Now, the outside is always going to have some extra. The other side is tucked inside there. So don't worry about that, because that is going to be crocheted into your work, and no worries there. So we're going to want to make a hole on each side of the fabric, and then we're going to connect it, and I will show you. So this is the one that I'm working with right now, so I'll show you more. I'm going to take this end and I'm going to fold it in half. And as you can see, this is the edge, so it has a nice thick there. So I'm going to come right within the edge of that. So I'm going to fold it over, and you know, it's not an exact science, but I'm going to fold it over about like that. And then I'm going to take my trusty scissors, and I'm going to go in the center and cut to about there. Do you see that? Okay, so then when I open it up, then I have a hole like this, okay? And so I'm going to do that on both ends. The other end is here because it's folded. So I'm going to do that as well. And so that is what I'm going to do with all of my fabric pieces. But right now I'm showing you. Now, if I get too close, or if this hole is not quite big enough, I can always cut just a little bit more on the inside of the fabric, not towards the end, but I can take my scissors and just cut a little bit more there, okay? So I have both of these pieces cut. Well, actually, this is one piece of fabric, but I've got both ends cut, and so I'm going to smooth it down and kind of fold it in half as I go, and just kind of fold it in half as I go so that I can coax it to be a nice strip of fabric like this. Okay? Sorry, I had to do that off camera a little bit because the fabric is so long. So if I can just, you know, push it down just a little bit, it'll get a little bit of a groove to it. This fabric is cotton, so, you know, it is very responsive to the heat of your fingers. As you can see, you know, with this one, you know, I just folded it once and here it's already getting the little groove on. So, okay, so I have both ends have the holes, and now I'm going to connect to the end of this other strip, which is 2 fabrics, and they are connected in the middle right here. So there's 2 fabrics and they're connected in the middle, 2 fabric strips. So I'm going to take this one end, and I have not cut the hole in this one yet. So I'm going to do that. Sorry, I'm holding it up too high. I'm going to do that. And so here we go. I'm going to just like bend it over just a little bit. Bend this over and take my scissors and give it a little cut. And I'm not going to go to the edge, but I'm going to go near the edge. So there we go. Okay. So you can see that. And then these are the 2 ends from the other piece. I'm only going to use one end. And what I'm going to do is fold this over again so that I can slip this through this hole. So I'm going to take this end and I'm going to poke it through this hole. And as I do that, I'm going to encourage the fabric to fold in half. Okay, and I'm just going to pull it through just a little bit. There we go. And don't worry about it, because once you have it all done, you can straighten it out. So that's not a problem. So what I'm doing, I'm holding on to this end, and now I have this end in my hands. This is the same strip of fabric, okay? I have one end in this hand and one end in this hand. This end went through the fabric that we're connecting to right here, okay? Now this, if I put this together, this is one piece strip of fabric. It's all one loop, okay? So now I'm going to make sure that I have this flat, and I'm going to push the same strip of fabric that I pushed through this extra fabric. I'm going to push it through there, and we're going to bring it through, bring it through, bring it through, bring it through. Now you can see here's the fabric that we looped through. See how we're looping it? We're looping it. So we're looping it through and looping it through this one. And then we're going to just give it a pull, and there, they're tight. Okay? So the basis is we are taking the one end that we're connecting. Now this is the one that we pushed through last time. But now we're going to take one strip and cut a hole in both ends, and we're going to loop one end through here and then loop that end back through the same fabric, the same strip on the other side through that hole, and then pull it through until it loops all the way through, and then it will form a knot, okay? And then you will have strips of fabric secure and tight in order to crochet with. Okay? I'm going to show you one more time how to do, okay, this is the other end. This is one end. And I'm going to set this down right here. Okay. I'm going to take this end. And you know what? I don't want that word to show up. So I'm just going to cut this a little bit. I didn't cut it on that other one and I kind of regretted it once I saw it. So I'm going to do it this way now. Okay. So now that little bit won't worry me because it's going to look like a design. Okay, so I'm folding this in half. And the reason I'm folding this in half is because this is a 2.5 inch fabric strip. It's a jelly roll. I took the cheater's way out and I let the company cut my rolls for me, my strips of fabric. Now, I could be very frugal and I could go and find some fabric. As long as it's cotton, it will work and be nice and secure, and then you'll be able to wash it. But you know what? You could even do other fabric if you wanted. Just make sure that you use similar fabric throughout your project. So I could be very frugal and go find on sale some cotton fabric and cut it into 1.5 inch strips up to 2.5 inch strips, and then I could crochet with it. So I'm going to fold this down and I'm going to give it a cut, and I'm going to go in the center of that and give it a cut just like that. Okay, so then when I open it, I have a nice hole there to do my loops and connections. Okay, so now I'm going to go to the other end of the fabric, which is right here, and let me kind of stretch it out a little bit and do that. Okay, and here we go. Just gonna give it a little rub. Okay, so I have this one folded in half. This is the other end of that strip. I'm going to fold it down, and halfway between the sides, I'm going to cut right there. Trying to show you. There we go. Let's try it this way. See if you can see it better this way. Okay, now I know it looks like I'm cutting all the way, but I'm not. I'm just using the inside of my scissors because that's the sharpest part. Okay, so let's see. Okay, see? There you go. If I open it up, a nice loop here. So here's one end. And here's the other end, okay? And here's the hole right here. So this is the fabric end that we're going to connect to, okay? So we're going to connect to this one. So I'm going to take this one, I'm going to fold it in half again, and I'm going to loop through. And it doesn't matter which way you loop through because they're just going to connect. And this one actually is going through a whole lot nicer than my first ones, probably because I'm finally getting the hang of it. You know, I've done this before. It's been a while, but I never lose my techniques that are awesome. And this one is awesome. So here's the two ends, and this is the fabric that we're connecting to, okay? So really it doesn't matter if you connect this one or this one because you're going to make a loop and one end is going to be free and it's going to be the end of the strip, okay? So I'm going to put this one into this loop right here, this hole right here, which is fine. And I'm going to pull it through, and here it's meeting that. I'm just going to keep pulling it through. Pulling it through. Until it's starting to make a knot. It's starting to form a knot. And there we go. It's going to form a knot as soon as I attach it through. Okay. And there we go. So there's our knot. So that is how we're going to do this. I'm going to continue making strips and connecting them. And then I'll meet you back and we'll do our project, okay? I'm very excited. Okay, guys, here we go. I've been practicing, and so that's why my fabric is all scrunched up, because I have been practicing. Because this is a technique that is really a little bit different feeling than what we're used to as far as yarn goes. So I tried a couple different ways. Now what we're going to do is make just a normal slip knot, okay? And we're going to just make a normal slip knot. Now the key to using this fabric and this hook is to not go too tight, okay? So we don't want to go too tight. Obviously we're going to make a slip knot, and so we want that to be secure. However, when we do our work, we want to make sure that our loops are very relaxed, because trust me, I tried this and tried making it using my normal tension, which is not really that tight. However, it made this very difficult to work with. So just giving you a little hint right now, go ahead and relax a little more with the fabric. As you can see, you know, this is a nice loopy loop. What we're going to do is chain 1 and chain 2, okay? And we're going to make sure that this is not too tight, okay? So then what we're going to do is place 6 single crochets in that first chain that we created. So we're going to skip what's on our hook, skip this this chain right here, and go into this chain. Now this is our slip knot. So it's between the chain and the slip knot. That's where we're going to go. So we're going to create 6 nice and relaxed single crochets. Now this first row is going to be challenging. Make sure that you don't make it too tight, or you will experience what I experienced, and you'll have to start over, because once it gets too tight, then this fabric is impossible to work with. Okay, so that's 2 single crochets. Here comes 3 single crochets. Now you don't want to make it so loose that, you know, everything falls apart either. No. Okay. 4 single crochets. 5 single crochets, and I'm just going to go around in a circle. 5 single crochets. Okay. And the last one, 6 single crochets. Now this first row is going to be the most challenging. However, once we get started, it will be a-okay. All right, now as you can see, we do have a hole in the center. We can sew that up at the end, and our basket will be just fine. Okay, so let's pull this up a little bit and let's take a look, because we want to see. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I forgot to count that one. So the next step is we're going to go in a continuous round. Okay, so the next step is to go into that first single crochet that we created and make another single crochet in a nice loopy fashion. Okay, so we may have to coax this on to our hook. Now, trust me, once we get started and going in the round, it will be so much easier. So don't worry. This first part is a little tricky because we're just getting the foundation started. Okay, so here's one single crochet, and then we're going to put another single crochet into that same stitch. So we have 2 single crochets, and make sure that you have a nice relaxed stitch, because if you don't, that's what's going to cause the issues in the next rows. Okay, so we have 2 in that one. Now we're going to go into the next one, which is right here. 1 single crochet, and 2 single crochet. Okay, very good. Now the next one, 1 single crochet, okay, and 2 single crochet. Okay, here we go with the next one. And I'm coaxing that fabric to show the outside of the fabric and not the inside. Okay, the next one, 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet. Now the joy with this rag type project is that the outside is going to have all of these colors, and yes, you will have some ends, but that is because it is a rag fabric project. So we're going to just embrace that, because that is the way it's supposed to look. It's supposed to look rustic. It's supposed to look just, you know, really down home. And I love this look. Now you can do any kind of fabric. I like using the print because, as you can see, all the different colors show through, and it really doesn't matter what the print is. It's the colorway of the print that will matter. That's what's going to show up. So we have 2 in that one. Let me see. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and we need 12. So we have 1 more to do 2 single crochets in. Here we go. One. And 2. There we go. All right. So let me count these. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Aha! We need 1 more. This one is going to add that extra 1. And see, it's already getting easier. I didn't want you guys to freak out with the first part because it really is a challenge. However, once you get past that, then the stitches start opening up. I mean, we all know that this first part is always a challenge, right? So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we have 12 stitches, which is correct because we started out with 6 and then we did 2 single crochets in each one. Okay, so we're going to do one more row on the bottom, and then we're going to go up. This is the first stitch of the next round, so we're going to do 2 single crochets, 1, and then 2, and then the next stitch we're going to do 1 single crochet. Then we're going to do 2, and 1. Oop, let's do 2, and then 1, two, and 1. Aha, it's time to connect again. Okay. Okay. Two. And then 1. Okay, so let's count what we've got. Now, as you can see, it goes through fabric really quick. Now, this is an end piece, so what we can do is tuck this in, and actually when we do the next row, this is going to get tucked in anyway, so we're not going to worry about that. Now, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay. All right. So we have 2 more to go in this round. 2 more of the single crochet twice in one stitch and single crochet once in each stitch. And so we're going to continue around until we get to the end. I'm going to go ahead and put some more fabric on here, and I'll meet you when I get to the end of this round. Remember, it's 2 single crochets in one stitch, 1 in the next, 2, 1, until you get back to the beginning, and you should have 18 stitches at the end of this round. So be sure and count your stitches, and if you have 18, then you are there. And I'll meet you back when I get to the beginning. Okay, everyone, look how pretty this is. This is just gorgeous. I love the way this is the bottom, because we always work from the outside. And then this is the inside. Now, as you can see, the inside looks a little messier, but you know what? That's the inside of our basket, so that is a-okay. So this is 3 rows in, 1, 2, 3. And you know what? I'm thinking I might go an extra row. So let's do 1 more row around. I might regret it. I might run out of fabric, but if I do, then I will just go get some more. So that's not a problem. Let's go ahead and do 1 more round, and we will make the bottom of our basket 4 rows around. Okay, so this one is, we've done this before together. This one is 2 stitches in the first single crochet, and then 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets, 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, all the way around. Okay, and this one was 18. When we get to, and I'll count this with you, let's see, we have this one, 1, 2, 3. Let me take this off. We have this stitch, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay, so our next round, when we get through, we will have 24. So let's do that. 2 stitches in one, and then 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets, 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, and do that all the way around. Now, if you like the size of this basket and this is where you want to stop, then just go ahead and stop and wait until we get to the end of this next row, because the next part will be the same no matter how large your basket is. Okay. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is attach the rest of my fabric, and I think I have 7 more strips, and we're going to start working on the sides. Now the sides are easy because all we're going to do is a single crochet, no increase, and it will bring up the sides. Just like when we did those nesting bowls, it's going to be the same technique. We are just going to do a single crochet until we get as high as we can, or as high as we like, or as high as we have the fabric to do. Okay, let's get a move on with this beauty. Those couple minutes went really fast, didn't they? Okay, so from now on, all I'm going to do is put 1 single crochet in each loop around, and actually in each stitch around. And let's see how fast we can build. Ooh, that one's tight. There we go. How fast we can build this side up. And let's see how far I can go with the amount of fabric that I have. Now, I want you to know I did some math. I got my trusty calculator out. And according to what I calculated, the amount of fabric that I am using is approximately 23 yards. So 23 and a little bit yards. So obviously when we crochet with yarn, we are talking really big pieces, really long lengths of yarn. You know, usually 23 doesn't cut it. But with this, as you can see, this is already turning. See this? I don't know if you can see it, but look, it's already turning. The basket is already forming. Yay! So we're going to keep going, and let's see how high we can make this basket. I love these baskets because, you know, you can make whatever design you want. You can use, I'm sorry, I'm going out of the camera. There we go. And try and keep it in there. If I don't move the work around, if I just move my hand around, then it's better. And I went ahead and connected all of my fabric. So this is me just doing a single crochet all the way around. Now remember, the work that I'm looking at is the outside, so I am going to coax it into turning, and it's turning quite nicely. So I'm going to keep going, and I'll meet you back when I get a couple rows in, okay? I'll meet you back. You keep going, crocheting around, and I'll meet you back when I get a couple rows in. Okay, so with 23 yards of strips of fabric, not 23 yards of fabric, but 23 yards of strips of fabric, I have made 6 rows. So 1, 2, 3 on the side, and then 1, 2, 3. Well, there's part of 4 on the side as well. So that's where it started turning. So we have 6 rows, and look, it's so cute. And here we are. I took a few colors of yarn and made small yarn balls, and that's what I put in my little bowl or basket. It's actually a basket. It's not a bowl. But I'm in love with this. Oh my goodness, I can't wait to go get some more fabric and to make more baskets. And I'm definitely going to make them bigger and higher. And honestly, you can make this as high as you want. You can build this up as many rows as you want to make it as deep as you want. And how cute is this? So cute. So cute. So I hope that you had fun. I hope that you learned something new and something that maybe you'll want to go and try. Get your fabric out. Go get some more fabric. Start cutting, or do the cheater way like I did and buy the jelly rolls. I'm going to tell you, it's more expensive that way. I probably will not buy the jelly rolls anymore because to make this little bowl, it cost me $12. And I keep calling it a bowl. It's a basket, but to make this little basket, it did cost me $12 in fabric, which was, in looking back, in hindsight, outrageous price. I will not do that again, but I will go buy some fabric on sale and take the time and cut my strips and make some more baskets. All right. Hey, if you like this tutorial, please give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe, because then you'll get notifications of when new tutorials come out. It's been great hanging out with you, and I hope that you have a great day. Stay safe, be kind, and let's get hooking.